Whenever you see Sri Aurobindo using a word, you understand it is coming from the truth force, and it is the only word which can be placed there. You can't even place another identical word there, you remember that. Whether you are convinced about it or not is something else. That is why in the slides also, where I have eliminated the slides for today's discussion, I have put a square brackets. But you can understand it if you follow these guidelines. So whoever is able to detect and renounce those obscuring agencies, what are the obscuring agencies? The Annamaya Purusha is the obscuring agency. The physical body is not an obscuring agency. The Pranamaya Purusha is the obscuring agency. The Manomaya Purusha is an obscuring agency, because though he belongs to those worlds, he is not aware of those worlds. We are only aware of the physical concept. We are not aware of the Pranamaya world. We are not aware of the mental world. Not as a world, we are aware of the thoughts. You are able to understand the difference. Just as we are moving here in this physical world from Bangalore to Hyderabad to America or somewhere else or to moon, similarly you can move in the Pranamaya world. Similarly, exactly like that. There is a Pranamaya Bangalore, no doubt about it. And there is a Manomaya Bangalore, no doubt about it. But can you understand it? Just now, quantum chemistry is trying to understand it, where it says there are not one universe but many universes, and you can shift from one universe to another universe. Science is reaching there. Next, chapter 7. This is the title you try to understand. Again I said, even this title is supramental words. When I mean with that, what I mean is, you can't have another title. The title is the only and the only apt title for this chapter. So try to understand the standards of conduct and spiritual freedom. What does it mean? When you conduct yourself, that means when you act yourself, the freedom you get depends upon the standards you have of that particular activity. Am I clear about that? So even the title itself gives you the whole what he is going to tell. Next slide. Whenever we formulate a law, we ignore the indivisible totality of the cosmic movement. Is it not? Understood? Next slide. Out. But since the perfection is progressive, evolution in time, good and evil are also shifting quantities. Now when you have a behavior pattern, a conduct, what is the standard? If it is good, you vote for it. If it is evil, you will not vote for it. Even though you may helplessly with Duryodhana say, Janami dharmam nachame pravrittihi. I know what is right, but I can't. But I know what is wrong, but nachame nivritti. Probably we are in tune with him. But here, a shifting quantity, even what is right at a particular level of consciousness becomes wrong at a different level of consciousness. So what is right and what is wrong must be defined in the world you are, what is good for you, on which side you are. Page 192. There are 4 main standards of human conduct. This you remember. These 4 latter become our integral yoga's 4 steps. The first is personal need, preference and desire. That is exactly how we live. And remember, the section we are reading is the yoga of divine works. So when we are reading the divine works, what are we supposed to gather? The laws of action, how you are supposed to act. So here he is giving you the 4 basic principles. One type of action is where you are the sole beneficiary. So you become important, the others are not important. The second, the law of the good of the collectivity. You are living in the society. Even though you want something, you are controlled by the social norms or family norms. So from a personal conduct, you have developed into a group relationship. A family is nothing but a group relationship. A society is nothing but a bigger group relationship. And the continents, a bigger relationships. And the planet, the only one relationship which you can have. Third is the ideal ethic. Now, this ideal ethic is what in Patanjali Yoga Sutras are known as the Maha Niyama, Mahavrata. The ideal ethic is beyond time and space. You have to follow it everywhere, anywhere. You must be knowing this. One Mahavrata, the ideal ethic, was the greatest exponent of that was Ahimsa, Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi. How Ahimsa in day-to-day work can give you independence to a nation. Ahimsa, Brahmacharya, Satya, Aparigraha. Huh? No, that's Niyamas. I'm talking about the Yamas. Satya, Brahmacharya, Ahimsa, Aparigraha and Asteya. You remember these 5? These are going to be very important for us. And of course, the highest divine law where you are not at all worried about what you are supposed to do. A pen never decides what it has to write. Is it not? In whichever hand it is, it will write. If it is in the hand of a small child, okay. If it is in the hand of the Nobel Prize winner, okay. For it is neither unhappy when it is with a child, nor it goes into ecstasy when it is in the hands of a Nobel Prize winner. If you can make your instrument like that, what are your instruments? These 3 bodies, the mental body, the vital body and the physical body. If you can be of such a nature where you are just not present, but the individuality is present. It is not that you are dead. It is not that you have become unreactive. It is not that you have become tamasic. The only thing is you are just an instrument. And the moment you become an instrument, the divine works starts. You even don't know what is a divine law. You need not know it. But unhappily, until you rise that standard, these 3 must be followed. You just can't say I have become tuned to the divine, because with your deficiencies, with the defects that are already inherent in us, if the divine power comes, we will die. Even when Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was induced into the state of Samadhi, his guru was afraid that he may die. Such a pure man. You can understand the purity of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. His asteya, aparigraha, was so great that once he was sick, and just behind Dakshineshwar was the homeopathy doctor's house. So Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa went there and asked for the medicine. The doctor was not there. And the compounder said that the doctor will come back after 2 or 3 days. Then what to do? He said, okay, you come after 3 days and take the medicine for 3 days. And he gave him 3 packets of medicine. Do you know what happened? He couldn't come out of the house because his mind became so confused. He couldn't find the way. And do you know where that house was? In Dakshineshwar garden, where Ramakrishna used to live, just about 300 to 400 yards. What happened? Can you understand now? He was given a medicine not for 1 day, but for 3 days. So what is the ideal ethic that is broken there? Aparigraha.